All right, VeloFanatics. Welcome to pod number 2. We're going to be doing a quick review of the first 3 stages of the Tour de France. It's exciting. The exciting times have arrived. We hope you've enjoyed the first 3 stages. We thought we'd do a quick review of those stages, the stage winners, take a look at the team kits, national champs kits. Also going to review the whole Vingegaard Van Aert rivalry, if there is a rivalry or a rift going on there. It'd be good to get your thoughts on that. And then I think we'll finish off with a short review of the fantasy predictions and see if we have any stage winners so far among the team. So yeah, let's get into it. Hope you enjoy pod number 2. Right, gents, good to be back. First 3 stages have happened. How are you doing? Enjoying it? The Tour de France, that is, not the podcast. Great start. Really happy with the first 3 stages. Yeah, it's gone are the days of 5 or 6 really dull stages before anything happens in the Tour. I think they've kind of learned from that. They've got the modern style of racing and crowd pleasing going on. You know, straight in on stage 1. So much for that being the classic stage. It was just much harder than that. And from what I saw, obviously I was away for the weekend, didn't see a huge amount of it, but from what I saw, you know, towards the end, it just all sort of blew apart.
Having the Sebastian climb, that climb was brilliant. It was the road being lined with fans was mega. Just the noise, the sound, the weather was decent. There was a bit of rain, but it was still sunny, so visually it was good. But it was still a little bit dodgy on the descents and stuff, which added to the excitement. It was just a mega finish. It was really good, really great. It was one of the best first stages we've had in years, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It reminded me of the 2014 Tour in England. Well, you just hit on it. It was reasonable weather, but it was slightly dull. So really passionate fans, so many people on the side of the road. Quite hilly. Very different for an opening stage. Well, recent opening stages. We'll get into that shortly, but the elevation game made a real difference to that stage.
And a 1-2 from 2 lads from my hometown.
Yeah. Oh, and you got that extra British connection of.
Max was watching the post race interview for Adam and asked me, "Is he from Australia?"
for Adam.
Yeah.
So someone pointed out he's a very very fast talker, and
I wonder why he sounds like he's from Australia.
The high rising terminal. Yeah, but that was a great. We'll get into that in a little bit more detail. But it was slight Anglophile angle to it, but an angle to it. It's good to see two Brits slugging it out. Was it a gifted stage? We'll hold that thought for now. Let's just look at the stages.
As long as it wasn't an angle stage, that's all that matters.
Yeah, not an Addy Angle stage. No, nobody won there. Having a natural break. Right, so. So let's get a recap of the first three stages. Okay, right, stage 1. Let's just share this. Bilbao to Bilbao. Relatively flat looking stage to the average viewer's eye, perhaps, but the gradients on these climbs, the gradients on the final climb, probably threw out any hope of any sprint. I think I might have foolishly said I think Pedersen could get over that. Not Pedersen, sorry, Philipsen could get over that. And Pedersen himself said he actually said to people, I think at the national champs, said to a few journalists, I could go for that stage, but on the team presentation, on the eve of the team presentation, he said he was wrong. He actually looked at the profile and the steepness of that just eroded his chances essentially. But we didn't need to get to the final climb for the action though. There was good.
Steepness and the length.
There was little digs all the way through. Yeah. Côte de Piquet. named after said PK, apparently.
Really?
No. No. Said PK said it was named after him, and then the next stage, which we'll come to, finished in San Sebastian, and that was also named after him. So he felt quite important this weekend. So yeah, any thoughts, any takes from the first stage in general?
I thought that Pog and Vinny, as we're choosing to call him, was a really interesting battle. The fact that it just went off straight away on the first stage it never happened. It made it completely unique for the first stage of the Tour. Lefay was awesome to stay with him.
He was killer. Amazing on the climb.
And then just the I mean, obviously Adam led them up initially, didn't he? And then got dropped. But for them to come back and just to cheekily attack on the descent like that, it was. I don't know whether it was I think, when there's a lot going on, the cameras don't get everything exactly as it happened. It never really caught it when we were watching the live feed. It was just they came round a bend. They were coming round a right hand bend on the descent, and they were about 5 bike lengths in front, and it was kind of like, oh, Simon and Adam have taken a bit of a lead, and that was kind of it. And then it just was like, is this going to go? No, it's not going to go.
Yeah. And there's quite a question whether Pog would let Yates or UAE would let Adam Yates go off the front with his brother.
Well, I saw the interview where Adam was saying that he'd said to Simon, I can't pull. I've got Tadej behind me. I'm not allowed to. Right. And then he got the call, and they said, yeah, you can ride. So he said, yeah. From there on in, it was full gas. But I thought I'd missed that break because I was dipping in and out of it, watching it on my phone while we were out and about with the family, and I saw them going up the hill.
Family before Tour de France. That's a big call.
Where's my commitment? Where's my commitment? But I saw them going over the top. I saw Tadej and Vinny get the gap. I saw Pogacar sort of motion to Vinny, come on, let's push, and he said no. And then the next thing I saw was that Yates were off the front.
Just to be clear, are we sticking with Vinny? Is that Vingegaard's nickname? It's our PC nickname.
It's the PC nickname, yeah. I think maybe later on are we going to dive into the alternative nickname? Yes.
Well, I was more interested in just that nuance of the final climb between the two brothers. There's a lot of talk. I think I said it on our group chat. Simon is he is the better sprinter. He's a proven Grand Tour stage winner. Obviously, I've got him in my fantasy team. I wanted him to win, and other people have said otherwise. He said differently himself that he cramped, but he gifted that stage.
I don't think he did. I really don't. I think there's such a rivalry between the two of them. If it was just for a stage win, I would have said yes. Possibly. Not definitely, but possibly. But because it was for the stage win and the yellow jersey, and Simon's never worn the yellow jersey, I don't think he would have gone, yeah, okay, you go and have that. And dropped seconds from his own GC ambitions as well.
As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to have to agree with Frosty. It pains me, but he is right in my opinion. I think if he gifted it, and your twin brothers, why are they not rolling across the line together? You know, like Sky and Ineos back in the day when they did the 1-2.
I don't think his team. I don't think Jacob would be happy about it, but he's happy about it. He's happy about it for his brother.
He still could have at least been in the same camera shot for the photos. Now they've got the
and not drop time as well. He could have done half a wheel stage to I think and the same time to Simon. I just don't think he had it.
He drops that time so people don't have that question. So people think.
I think you're reading too much into it. I just don't think he had I don't think he had the kick at the end there, and he just couldn't hold the wheel.
Unlike Andrew to be a conspiracy theorist, it's not normal. It's rightly out of the normal.
He smashes us up that final rise.
As soon as Adam left him, Simon turned around to look over his wheel because he didn't have anything else left.
Look at his 2019. Well, he looked over to make sure that he wasn't going to make an even bigger mistake than gifting his brother the stage and not even getting second, I think. But look at his sprint look at his 2019 Tour stage win. He can lead out a sprint better than that. He's quite wily. He's got a good finish on him. So I'm not saying
I'm not sure.
I like a conspiracy theory.
Holds water as an argument against how he was feeling at that moment at the end of that stage.
No, just as an example of how he rides. Obviously, there's multiple examples of him doing it. Even his kick at the Giro last year in the TT on an equivalent type gradient to actually win a TT, for example. He has his characteristics suit that type of finish and that type of punch. But we'll see. I just thought it was interesting.
Regardless, it was a brilliant attack, and it made for a really good story. Regardless, obviously we're Brits, and it's nice for us, and we're watching English people commentate on GCN or ITV. But nonetheless, I don't think it's crazy to presume that general European, American, Australian viewers are enjoying the fact that that's just a bit different. It's a bit special. It kicks off the tour in a really exciting way. If you're a fan of the tour and you're a fan of cycling, you can't help but think that that's a cool way to kick things off.
Oh, yeah, amazing. Great story. A great story for a certain other podcast of a former 7 times winner of the Tour de France. He was really enthused about the two brothers going for it. He even name dropped their parent, kind of awarded the Yates' parents as outstanding achievement for producing two great riders like that. So even Lance is a fan. But obviously I'm just stirring the pot, as it were, the pot Belge, in the sense that it just didn't look right. To me, watching Simon, looking at Simon's wins, looking at how he races even in bunches for sprints, which he isn't necessarily well suited to as other riders. But but that leads us into Yates, who I guess maybe there's some questions about him leaving Ineos. He's so on the Orica, Jayco, Bike Exchange, whatever they're called this week. Goes to Ineos. Did he? In your opinion, I think he had a good first year. Seemed to struggle a bit in 22. Did he hit his potential there?
I think a large part of it is down to psychology. I think at Ineos, it's a British team, so there's expectations. I also think that I personally think, I don't have any hard evidence to support this, but my gut feeling is that there was confusion as to who's leading them. So they don't have, since Froome and Egan have been injured, they don't have, obviously G aside, when G's racing, they know they go behind him. He's a one leader and he produces every time. But there's just confusion as to who's got what role. Was Adam? He was never signed as this is our next GC person. He's going to be GC for the Vuelta or he's going to be GC for the Giro. I just think. Well,
I think for maybe the Vuelta. I'll cut this bit out. I think, but he probably was lined up for the Vuelta. I think, wasn't he? That type of. Well, yeah. Let's call it a B in some people's eyes. The B list Grand Tour. But
I think there's always been a bit of confusion within who's riding for what recently with Ineos. I think with UAE there was never any confusion. I think he's there riding as a backup GC rider, but he's mainly there, as he said, and then as he showed, we'll come on to it in stage 2, as he showed in stage 2, as support for Pogacar. Yeah. He's there as a super domestic,
and he said so.
Pogacar. He said that, so. And his actions the next day totally backed up that he wasn't making that up. He wasn't saying it just for mind games or anything like that. He was there leading Pogacar out on stage 2.
Yeah, but then still had it at the finale. So great. Yeah, he stepped up a level. I think. I always, if you go back to if you follow their careers closely, or if you've been following it from the start, they used to do a lot of joint interviews in Pro Cycling magazine, some of the YouTube channels for Jayco and YouTube videos. And Adam always struck me as lacking a bit of confidence compared to Simon, or at least downplaying his achievements. He won, for example, he won San Sebastian. Actually, so this part of the world suited him back in 2015, and Simon had already. Simon did the Tour de France in 2014, and was more on people's radar. Seemed to have a bit more panache in like the Tour of Britain and some other races, but hadn't necessarily put anything on his Palmares at that point. And obviously, Adam got San Sebastian, but he was keen to stress that Simon had the better season that year, even though to the average viewer it's like, hold on, you've got a much bigger win, you're doing a lot better. And I just picked up on that theme afterwards, that he generally just downplayed his achievements, picked up his brother, almost was happy to play second fiddle. Is that just a lack of confidence, or?
I think there might be a bit of a lack of confidence in there. When you go back to their early days, Simon was picked up and went through the British cycling route of progression into the pro ranks. Adam wasn't picked up and ended up going via the Dave Rayner route and was sort of funding himself around races in Europe with backing from the Dave Rayner Fund.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally different routes.
Yeah, they both, and then I think they were both in. Was it the 2013 Tour de l'Avenir? But we first really kind of saw them on the road together, and then the stories were really kind of intertwined. I think it was good for Adam to break away from Jayco. I know there was a lot of talk. Or at the time with the Jayco, they're probably Orica or Bike Exchange at that point. But there's a lot of talk about Simon being a great fit for Ineos, but obviously he could. I mean, I don't know what the stance is on that, but there was a lot of talk saying essentially because of his positive in 2016, a TUE issue, and we're not saying anything more nefarious than that. He could never join Team Sky because of their zero tolerance.
Which is quite visible now, isn't
it? But also, as he kind of dodged a bullet there, But maybe late, 2015 to 2019 was maybe he could have maybe we could have seen a different Simon as well as Adam if he'd gone to that team. But no, that's good. Should we move on to stage 2?
Before we do, I just want to chuck one mini conspiracy theory at you. Just we were on WhatsApp.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah,
we were on WhatsApp obviously during the race. Andrew and I were. Nick was being with his family,
doing important things.
Yeah, when Pog came third over the line and put his hands up. Initially. So obviously we've all seen the interviews, we've watched it back. The commentators, everyone's kind of saying, "Oh, he was celebrating for the win," and he has said that. He said that in his interview. Now, was he celebrating for his teammate, or did he do a Jasper disaster?
I did see them come over the line, and I thought, who's that celebrating? Because I was watching it on the phone as I was walking around a field in North Wales, so I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention to it.
Good. Must have had good signal.
Stand in sheep shit and that sort of stuff. But he must have. He can't have thought that he was first over the line because it was his teammate, and he'd given them permission to. Yeah, they must have referred back to Pog and said, Adam's ahead. Do you mind if he goes for it?
Or
he must have known.
That's assuming that the interview that Adam gave was truthful.
Mm.
You're assuming that what he said was true.
Yeah, but he also saw them go, and they know that they didn't go past him. So,
okay, yeah. So you've ruined a good conspiracy corner. Let's move on to stage 2.
Yeah, no. I thought
stop saying stupid things, and I'll stop cutting you down.
We don't know if Tadej got. We know that Yates said he asked the team, could he move? We don't know if. I mean, you'd have to assume Tadej. He's wanting to put a marker down on Vinny. He knows who's around him. You'd have to say he probably knows he was there, but whether it's something got lost on the downhill or he doesn't know. It was very exuberant celebration for being happy for your teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite, to use your word, just then exuberant.
Definitely, but he's a happy chap. He's a happy guy, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, and either he's a really good actor, good at covering his real feelings and emotions, or he was genuinely happy for Adam, because you could see the way he was celebrating with him afterwards.
Yeah,
that's good to see, especially after they've had the UA tour for the last couple of seasons, well, last 3, I believe. Tadej didn't go this year, did he?
Didn't go this year.
But he had the 2 years where there was Adam won, and then Pogačar won, and it's good to see them. I kind of view them as rivals. If when Adam's close to in the early season, let's just say they could be seen as rivals, but to go from being that rival to being a teammate who he also. Tadej is happy to joke about other riders after the stage, which we'll get into in a second on stage 2 with Adam. It seems like they've got a really good camaraderie there. So that's just great to see. I think more happy teams. Speaking of which, let's look at stage 2 with a not so happy team at the end of it. Right, yeah. So there he is, good old Adam. Stage 2.
It's worth pointing out that our predictions were failed. All 3 of us failed on our predictions on stage 1.
Yeah, we did. We're going to have a little section at the end. We're going to look at the scorecard for the predictions. But yeah, you and I, Simon, went MVDP.
He didn't try.
He didn't try. It's not that it was too hard for him. I think on his day, he clearly would have won and we would have been the victors. But the most important thing is Nick didn't win either.
I got 3rd, podium spot. I've amended the point system, as you know, for my version of the predictions race, so I'm well ahead in that.
I'm sure you are. But we'll let the viewers know.
And if you start catching up, I'm going to change the rules on that one again.
Yeah, just keep changing the rules. But I'm sure you'll be safe, especially with my Pedersen pick on the first HC day. Having Mads Pedersen as the winner on that day is probably going to give you a bit of breathing room.
I think that's probably one of the most left field picks of the lot, isn't it?
Definitely.
Apart from Patrick Conrad.
Well, yeah. Well, so you had Patrick Conrad for this stage, didn't you? Did he? Sorry, I missed the Dauphiné. I should have researched this a lot more. But did he win in the Dauphiné, or was there some reason for you picking him, Simon?
I was just a little bit bored and thought it might be amusing.
It certainly was, yeah. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, you could say this suits his characteristics, but yeah, would we call this a mini San Sebastian? We had the Icebell at the end. I wouldn't say it's selective as San Sebastian, but let's call this the San Sebastian stage. Obviously, it is finishing in San Sebastian. We knew it would come down to this final climb, which it did. But then,
and you were right in the preview show, Andrew, because they went up the other way, didn't they? They didn't go up the same route. They came down.
Yeah, I'd heard
usual
that.
Up route
Yeah,
for San Sebastian.
And I don't think it's quite as hard. I mean, it looks spectacular with the fans and with the scenes were great. There was a great vibe there. Just on that though, and we've said it's been a great introduction to the Tour de France, and I'm just going to throw the cat among the pigeons, but here, and I like to be a little contrary. I've not felt absolutely elated at the start of this Tour de France. Normally I do, just because I know it's going to be 3 weeks of heaven and the best time of year for a cycling fan outside of the classics, obviously.
That's because Froome.
It's because Froome's not in it, but it's also because it's very. I think it's just the overcast nature of the weather, and a little bit grey and dull in parts. And I normally, especially being here in England, where actually, surprise, we had a really dull weekend after a mini heat wave. But you can normally rely on the coverage of the Tour de France to make you feel like you're on your summer holidays. And as I said at the start, I felt like I was in Yorkshire when I was watching the stage. Not a bad thing, but it's just, it was just interesting, that stage. Like it looked great, but maybe it was good actually for the race that it wasn't too hot on there, because I think it wasn't too decisive on that climb. So leading up it, again, Simon Yates, my outside pick. As you said, Nick, he's got the chance for yellow, but it looked like he was gunning for the. They made a really big push to get over the top, over the com, and it looked like he was going to grab the bonus seconds. I think this is where we probably saw the first real attacks and blows between the two favourites. So at that point, Vinny thinks he can come round. Some elbows going on from Yates, has him up against the barriers, which I thought, this is what I was talking about earlier. He's quite a wily guy, and he wasn't going to let Vinny come round him there. So he arms out there, and then Pog just launches. Vinny thinks he's got it, and Pog's wrists, we're not sure about it. It's obviously, it's not a high climb. It's not Vingegaard's forte, but Pog just had him in his pocket there, right?
He definitely did. It was again to follow on from a really explosive finish on the first stage. To have those three going at it for points at the top so early, it was just it was class. It was like having a mini classic, and just the elbows, the three main protagonists at this stage of the race going at it together, really good. I thought it was going to stop again, stupidly, naively, when Pog's involved. I thought, that'll be that. They've sorted out the points. They'll just wait for everyone else. But no, on they kicked, and Pog gave the elbow and flipped the elbow and looked round, and Vinny was having absolutely none of it, which I think could be looked at as very, very boring.
Very boring. But I think part of me was looking at thinking, well, why don't they just work together, put a bit of time in? But I think you got to look at how Vinny rode it last year. Pog put loads of effort in early stages last year, and did that come back and bite him in the backside later on? I think it probably did, and that's where Vinny came to the form, was able to sort of drop him. Is he more wily? Is he better at riding a 3-week Grand Tour mentally? Whereas Pog seems to be still wanting to go for everything all the time, and maybe he's got a DS in his ear trying to sort of rein in his most attacking kind of impulses.
I think that's interesting. Sorry, Simon.
I was going to say, well, Pog is more of he rides in the modern age more like an old school rider. He rides on feeling and emotion, and that's why he's got so much panache and why he's so class to watch. Whereas Vinny has come to the sport later. He's done it through the numbers all the way, and he's just that's how he rides, and it is more boring. But to his credit, He did probably the right thing. Also, and this will lead into what happened at the end. He clearly was following team orders, which is we're riding for Wout for that stage. So Why am I?
Why is he not working?
Why am I going to work with you, get done on the line, and then doesn't get a chance to sprint? So
because he would probably get done in the sprint.
Oh, he would have got rolled by Pog. Yeah. I mean, Pog rolled him on the climb, and there's no way. I mean, if you look in the classics, Pog has come close sprinting out with Van der Poel, Wout. So there's absolutely no way Vinny can touch him in a flat sprint. So, and he knows that. So he was following team orders, which appears to have been completely lost by the Belgian press, who have gone into overdrive. And he's a disgrace what he's done. But he did the right thing by following orders and waited for Wout, who caught on. So he's done one really good thing there, in my opinion.
And he's waiting categorically, or more because he wants to help Wout, or more because he knows he's going to be beaten, because he can still get those bonus seconds.
I would say if you're unkind, it'd be 50-50. It'd be equal that I'm going to get beat and equal that I want Wout. And I think that's unkind on Vinny. I think Vinny was following orders. I think it's fairly obvious that was what the plan was, and that's what they're going to do. And he needs him, and so give Wout a chance.
Yep. What do you think, Nick? Are you thinking he's a team player? He's now the smarter one. Just on your point on Pog. Sorry. Before we get into that, so I've got a slightly different take on it. I think Robbie McHugh might have said this on GCN as well, which is he did overdo it last year. He raced, from UAE Tour, Strada Bianchi, all through the stage races, coming absolutely smashing it in the Tour, Planche de Belfi, you name it. He overcooked it, whereas I think this year, obviously it's not ideal to have a broken wrist, but maybe he's better rested and it suits him better. Maybe that's the differentiator.
He started at a really high level.
It's a climb more suited to him.
He started at a really high level all of last season and carried that through early season into the Tour, but didn't maintain it for that third week of the Tour, whereas this season been completely the opposite of that. But going back to Vinny, I think Vinny, there's two things don't quite go together, do they? So he said he was waiting for Wout over the top, but then the controversy is that he didn't pull in the run in to chase down Lefay, who managed to hold them off. And as Simon's just said, the Belgian press have gone ballistic, saying, "Well, if you had put a little bit of an effort in, we'd have been able to catch him, and our man Wout would have won the stage." But I think you've got to say hats off to Lefay. The amount of power that he put down in that run-in to hold them off.
It was power, and it was clever as well, because he sat and waited for all the inevitable attacks, because everybody knew, and they were calling it in comms. I watched both ITV and Eurosport live. I was flicking between the two, and it was called really obviously like everyone was going to attack, knowing that Wout had to chase it. And Wout would have known that himself. So my attitude is that the domestiques didn't do their job properly, or they did as much as they could and they were gassed, which is completely fair enough. And there's an argument to say, well, Wout waited too long. Okay, he knows that no one else is going to chase him down. So then what does that mean? It's fairly binary. It means you've got to do it. If your teammates can't do it for you or won't do it, then make a quick decision on the bike. Don't piss and moan about it and say, oh, the potential Tour de France winner who gifted me a TT last year and who waited up for me on the descent, he's not
gifted him a TT.
We'll then do something about it. If Wout had gone earlier, he would have caught him and no one would have come around him.
So I think those
equal blame across the team. The simple version is they just got it a bit wrong, and Lefay got it very right and was clever. And just leave it at that.
I think those long distance attacks as well from riders where they had to be chased down, and that caused a selection and ruined kind of the Jumbo-Visma plan to say, oh well, we'll just drill it on the front and bring it back, because riders got dropped in distance. Was it Pidcock went off the front? And they had to chase him down, and then Skelmos went as well.
Yeah, so Pidcock had a bit of a dig, didn't he? A couple of K out, and
so he still finished fourth. Still finished.
Yeah, and he had tax. You know, the return of the tax again. Not attacks, the tax. Someone throwing tax on the road. So he had a slow puncture, and he could still finish highly. But
that's why he only finished fourth. He would have won the stage if and given me the right pick.
Yeah, no, he potentially could have done a little more. JV said, or one of the riders on Benute said, you know, when Pidcock attacked, they had to expend a lot of energy to bring him back, including Van Aert. I question where Laporte was today. I'm assuming he's been saved. Yesterday, but stage 2. I'm assuming he's been saved for later in the race. He wasn't a factor. Then I think I also cursed this team, JV and Kelderman, by saying the Kelderman team is going to go harder and deeper than a Roglic team. Because I think if Roglic was there in the final, and let's just say he was resigned to the role of helping Jonas, I think he would have been straight on Lafay, potentially. You know, if he's in that scenario, we could argue, you know, does Roglic have in the earlier part of his career, would he have the kind of nous and the skills to read that situation? But we saw last year, we were talking about the team tactics. You know, he plays that foil and that role really well. So it was like Kelderman. You know, it's not his terrain, but it's like he just had nothing. He either didn't read it properly, or he just wasn't able to react, and then the chain from there didn't really work for Jumbo. Then there's the argument, should Vinny have pulled? I don't think he should have pulled. I don't think he can. 2, I don't think he should. They should, if Vingegaard can do that, Kelderman should be able to do it. But they should have managed it all better. They should have managed it coming down off the climb. They should have managed. The fact is that they probably made it too, or Pogačar, UAE, even Simon Yates made it too hard for Van Aert going up that climb. If he had a chance of winning, I would argue he should have been better on the final climb. Yeah, because his positioning.
If you're going for yellow, do you want your main contender with his nose in the wind on stage 2 pulling?
No, and also, you just don't know when it's a flat sprint and everyone is on the limit, like really on the limit because of the climb. That it's not just a 10k flat run-in, flat sprint stage like today. They were all completely on the limit, which is when mistakes happen. People have not given Vinny enough credit that he's probably taken a risk calculation and gone, if I go on pull, what happens if something happens and I crash? Yeah, there's the 3 kilometre rule, but that doesn't help you if you've got a fractured kneecap or something, does it? So I think
Richard Carapaz.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's reasonable that he didn't pull, and I think that I think everyone should stop bleating. Although, having said that, the Belgian press love drama. They're up for dramas, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So what do you think? We were talking about it on the group, weren't we? A lot of people saying he threw a bid on, and we were saying he didn't throw a bid on. He slammed his handlebars. Then you found the footage. It's now out.
Oh, definitely.
Hunted down that footage that afterwards he did. He also got a bead on, threw it down. Obviously he's frustrated, but maybe Lafay did an amazing ride. Yeah, it's good to be a little bit humble. We see this a lot with Van Aert. It's like you don't have. Maybe he feels he has a God-given right to win. That's why he's so good. But there was a lack of respect there for rivals and for a great effort. But then there's talk that he threw his bike down. He got
in the team
bus
car.
door. He got in the team car, but everyone else stayed on the bus. That's not right.
No,
but I can get the frustration.
Is that what makes you a champion?
First time coming over the line, I can get the slamming of the handlebars. We see that time and time again. Throwing the bead on, that's taking it to another level. And the worst thing is not getting on the team bus, getting in a car, saying
individual
I don't want to be with the rest of you.
The team.
Yeah, I'm. Maybe he's just thinking, okay, I need a little bit of space. That's probably just me being kind to him. I think even if because his team did pull, his team got him in that position. His team got him there. They didn't quite get him there. Well, he ran out of road. If he needed another 500 meters, and it would have caught Lefay. So, did they just time it wrong? Were too many other spanners thrown in the works on that run-in with, as we've just mentioned, other people attacking and ruining the Jumbo-Visma plan to pull him back? That's not their fault.
Well, Dr. Spock postulated that the needs of the many outweigh those of the few, but it seems like Wout van Aert is the anti-Spock. He's the Captain Kirk of cycling. He is the few.
Right. Yeah. Even my son's GAA coach has them at the end of the training, and he gets them to repeat the mantra "team before self." And they're 9 years old, right? So, I get that he's used to winning. I get that you have to have a bit of bite to be that good and to compete in all of those disciplines. I get all of that. I have no problem with any of that. I just think that he was disrespectful. I think that he's come out, in his defence, he's come out today and he's given a very good interview pre-race where he was smiling and he said, it happened.
Yeah, he looked chilled. He did seem chilled. He did seem
chilled, but then I think...
Until today.
He's probably been given a roasting and he's come out and done the right thing, said the right thing. But he's got previous. I think we've gone from liking Wout, loving him, to appreciating his talents, shall we say, and suffering his arrogance and the way he carries himself. I think, again, it's the Belgian press. You can't take them seriously, but you can't take the way they overhype things. You can't take that seriously.
But Simon, what you're getting at, or we've picked up on this before. I think two years ago, I felt he was the best rider in the world, as in he was a favourite rider. He was clearly, after lockdown, he was on the top of his game. But you picked up on it, I picked up on it. The Tour of Britain, some of the comments he made behind the scenes to Ethan Hayter in 21.
It was just right in front of the mics.
Right in front of the mic. I actually can't remember. I've got it recorded downstairs, but it was a comment like, I kind of let you win, or if I was on top form, that's the only reason I didn't win.
Belittled him,
and then he did something similar last year. It's on Unchained.
When they were on the road.
I think it was the Calais stage where he said he said to Pog you weren't expecting that, but Pog's just laughed it up and said, but you dropped your own team.
Yeah,
but is that what sets him apart and makes him a champion, or is it verging into an arrogance which people don't like?
I think it's
off-putting. It's off-putting to me. I don't think that it's a lack of respect there. That it's not sportsmanlike.
I think that Nick's on mute, which means I can just talk over him, which is amazing. I love that. I wish I had that all the time.
Forgot to unmute after I'd let the dog out.
What I was going to say is that Wow is he does that too much, and it's become tiresome for me. I think I just don't think. I think he can turn it on and turn it off, because you see Cav, I think it was at the Tour of Britain when Cav had his son and by the team buses after a stage.
It was the same. It was the same
and
race.
He came across brilliantly, and I think he can switch it on and switch it off, and I think he's capable of not having to do that. The Belgian press has gone after Pog for doing the impression of him doing the bead on the rollers. So what? Who cares? Cry more. Get over it. Win a stage and rub it back in their face.
Yeah. I know we might be skipping ahead a little bit to today's stage. We're talking about Pog doing the impression. I obviously Pog came over to congratulate Philipsen today after today's stage. Part of me is wondering how much of that is genuinely congratulations, but also winding Wout up a little bit. He beat you, I'm going over and I'm saying well done to him because you put him in, didn't put him into the barriers, but you put him in his place. And maybe there's an element of that. But I think with Van Aert, all you need to look at is how the other riders react to him. We saw it, I can't remember what race it was, where there was 3 of them squeezed in onto that tiny little sofa, and it looked like the most awkward thing in the world.
Yankee.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Wout was gone, the other 2 were straight in conversation like they were best mates.
Yeah.
Well, it was also the cyclocross, wasn't it? In the cyclocross season, but it was San Remo, wasn't it? It was
not isolated incidents. Yeah.
Was it Ganna
and
Van der Poel? Van der Poel won. Ganna. Did Van Aert finish 3rd?
Was he not Bianchi?
Well, Pidcock won, didn't he? And then
it was San Remo. Yeah. But the Peloton don't like him as much as they like Van der Poel and Pog. Pog he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Pogacar, he's just got himself in every single behind the scenes footage for any documentary. That in the first 3 stages of the tour, Pogacar has been everywhere, smiling, and grinning, and taking the mickey. And I think it's brilliant.
Taking selfies at rollout. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a legend. MVDP is the go, but Pog is he's the happy chappy. He's what's not to like. He's just a great guy. But stage 3 today, pure flat stage, final stage in Basque Country, crossing over into France. 2 stage winner predictors here in our fantasy. Who did you go for, Nick? You went for the same
for Philipsen.
Yeah, Simon. Who did you go for again?
I'm pretty sure I went for Fabio, and you went for Philipsen. So I think I lost.
Yeah, but it was always going to be a toss up between the sprinters. I don't.
No, Simon went for Wout van Aert.
You went for Wout, and you nearly got a winner, but that didn't quite play out. So, just conscious of time, and we don't need to talk too much about you have some nice scenery there. A couple of climbs. You had Paulus going off the front. Maybe we'll get into Paulus in a minute when we talk about the team kits, but those shorts are not good. Those red shorts. I know it's a skin suit, but the red bottoms on that skin suit, pink gloves. You got the Cannondale flecks of pink in there and silver.
Well, I don't think those red shorts are team choice. I don't think they're. I think they're part of the jersey.
Well, it's part of the skin suit from Leclerc. Yeah.
They're
the sponsor. So, but you can opt the same green. You can opt to go for the jersey and pair it with your own shorts. A slight disadvantage if you're all aero and into the skin suit, but you're going off the front. You're trying to get a few GPM, go King of the Mountains points. It's just not a good look. I'm not saying the shorts are wrong. The shorts are fine. The shorts they should give him a nice red bike, a nice limited edition. They've got that new Lab 71 Cannondale. It's worth frothing over. That's a great bike, even though it's got a very particular bracket sizing, which I'm not happy about. But so that's Cannondale make things awkward for the enthusiast, right? But that aside, they should have given he's trying to hang on to that jersey for as long as possible. I don't think he can win it. He's got the capabilities to win it. I think it's unlikely he'll win it, given the points on offer and the main contenders for GC. But give the lad a nice special polka dot bike. Get rid of that pink conflicting with the red. Not nil point. That's not.
I agree, 100%. The EF pink ruined it, or I should say the other way around. The red ruined it against the EF pink. It was a shame. I tell you what I did like is I liked Pichon as they went across the border, and he was still in the break on his own as he pointed at the sign as to say they were coming into France. I thought that was quite a nice little gesture. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a good touch. Yeah, some nice touches. But yeah, it was all about the run-in. So even though I picked Philipsen, Nick, you picked Philipsen. And I think we all wanted to Cav to win, and I think Astana were looking good in general. There's been a lot of talk about the sprint train, but 5-6k out, I just thought he's not up for it today. Bauhaus was surprising, I think. Well, maybe not surprising. It was definitely refreshing to see. Obviously, you had Philipsen arguably, making things tight for Wout. Wout bailed.
I think that's just bad course construction, course design, because it looked from the overhead like he might have kind of cut across him, but when you from the front on, when you saw it from the overhead, Philipsen's dead straight on his line, and then very, very rapidly at the speed they're going, that barrier came in and Wout's space just disappeared. And at those speeds, I can see that it's quite easy for him to pull out, because he must have been so close to wiping out. And it wasn't Philipsen's fault. He didn't protest at him either. He didn't criticise him. There was a bit of a hand that went up, but it wasn't particularly kind of demonstrative. There wasn't a lot of vocal behind it. I think he knew. I was surprised that it took so long for them to award the stage. Maybe somebody from Team JV went in and
protested
against it. But
I'm never surprised when the UCI and ASO get together and try and do commissaire stuff. It's always an absolute car crash. So that doesn't surprise me. I agree with you. It shouldn't happen. And it was a really straightforward decision, but I'm not surprised because they're hapless. They always take ages for stuff like that. I think Philipsen took that bend like Usain Bolt doing a 200-metre bend. He just absolutely rinsed it, and wow, had to pull the ripcord. Simple as that. You just got done by a pure sprinter.
Yeah, and Cav just bailed today. He said he takes a while to warm up, but it looks like he was well positioned on occasion, and then
Cav's just there for the win. If it's not the win, then.
But time's running out, Nick. He's got maybe 6.
But if he knows he's not going to get it, why expend those extra little bits of energy that will be cumulative?
How does he know he's not going to get it if you're in a good position? This is what I'm saying. So is it because he's not feeling right? I don't know, but
I guess he does know because he's done it a lot.
Well, but did he do it a lot but 2018? Well, even 2015, I know you could argue he was ill. I'm sure he should have taken those wins then. It's just he's admitted himself. He goes. I'm not saying he's looking sharp, he's looking lean, he's looking great, but 2021, for example, the day Mohoric won, Quick Step were chasing that day, and there was a lot of headwinds, I believe, and but if they'd just chased that down, that was another shot he had. He could have done it on that. But Brian Holmes said it as much. He had his chance and he screwed it up. So I think I'm not saying that's the case, but just I'm worried. I'm worried that he might feel like that a few too many times. He might feel like he can win, but as you know, just because you feel like you can win doesn't mean you can win. So I'd like to see him going for it no matter what. I think Adam Blythe said something similar. If he could win, he would like to win. So he might be frustrated with that. But yeah, maybe he's just not feeling it. Like you say, Simon, maybe he's saving it for Paris.
Exactly.
Amazing.
But to be fair, he still finished 6th. He's looking a lot sharper than what he did. Do you remember very early season? We were really worried and we fell into the trap of let's write Cav off. And I like to think that helped him win a Giro stage. If it wasn't for us,
true.
He would never have won that Giro stage. But he's looking way sharper now. He's really on it. He looks quite relaxed as well. I think I think he's ready for it. And I think finishing 6th today, given the lead out that Van der Poel did, there was only ever one winner. That was an absolute beast turn. It was outrageous.
So there's a lot of truth in MVDP playing the team game. Jasper's going for the green, and he managed his efforts the first 2 days, and he just put the power down today. That was great to see. And good. Where did he finish, by the way? I'm assuming he dropped back out. But he went quite MVDP. Yeah, he went quite deep to the line.
Have a look.
He was outside the top 10.
Yeah.
But okay, what do we think?
I only ask because he's in my Velo Games team.
Yeah. Do we think that Caleb
26.
Cadell, as we're calling him, do we think that he is going to get better than third? Do you think that's him peaked for the Tour? He's not going to get better than third, is he, in a sprint?
No, he looked.
I was surprised to see him there. Did you named him early on there, didn't you, Andrew? You sort of.
Well, I've got him down for like coming good on the final stage. Not had the. Well, he's had a few wins taken off him this year.
Are you assuming that he's going to make it to the final stage?
Yeah.
He's not got the greatest record, has he?
Well,
apart from winning there in 2019, and
it's the Giro that he always goes to and leads after he's lost 6 times.
He's won on the Champs Elysees twice, hasn't he? Didn't he win 2019 and 2020?
I'd take that back then.
I think he did. I think he won in 20 as well. But he left the Giro early, didn't he? And he got criticised by Merckx.
I'm only bitter because I had him in my fantasy team that year. He left really early and it screwed me.
Yeah, he's had a bad run this year. He's had a bad run the last couple of tours. Sorry, my little girl's just making lots of noise in the background there. Hopefully, it's not too noisy. Right, let's quickly look at some team kits.
What about Little Trek? What do we think of that?
I quite like it.
I quite like it.
Let's have a.
If you compare Little Trek with Premier Tech effort, I think that Premier Tech's. I'm not a fan of it. They've gone for let's some of the French with the red, white, and blue, but it's just all over the place. There's no cohesion. It's not good.
Oh,
not good at all.
I'll have to cut this bit out.
What on earth was that?
I shared the wrong screen. I think I've lost my recording.
Could have been risky.
By the way. Yeah, I think I've lost my recording, by the way. So this is bad. I'll have to look at see how it all works. But right.
What this second part post your internet drop?
Well, yeah, the internet didn't drop, but So there's little Trek, not to be confused with Big Trek. I think Simmons is. I think that's quite a cool look. Here he is here with his full-on nice mullet, nice little red beard going on there to match the neck, and I think it's a strong look. I mean, yeah, Jensen's looking a bit. I don't know. Has he got a pot belly or a concave chest? I don't know. Something's going on there. He doesn't look too comfortable in it, but yeah, that's a strong kit. Bahrain.
There's too many anonymous white kits, and I'm just starting to get used to spotting them in the difference in the peloton in other races, and then all of a sudden it's all changed. I mean, the only good thing you can say about this is you're no longer confusing them with Ineos, but when it goes to that front-on shot or when it goes to the aerial shot, there's 3, 4, 5 teams that are all white, and when you're watching it on mobile or when you're watching it without your glasses on, I can't tell the difference.
I don't like it. It looks like a spring kit with a gilet. I don't like the banding around the arms.
What do we think of Fred's jersey?
It's really not very good.
It's too low down, these bands, and it's but I've noticed that on other national champs. It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing now, isn't it? Cofidis. You can't quite see it on this picture, but they've got a nice fade going on.
Yeah,
but again, another white, and
I think that's one of the best Cofidis kits for a while.
Yeah,
I like it.
So
yeah,
it's been their lucky kit.
It's yet another white kit, but it's as Simon said, I like it. I like that fade. I like it. It's quite clean.
Yeah. Now, Simon, you said you pointed this out. Wanty, Intermarché, wanted to change their kit, but they've gone more yellow. Okay, it's fluoro, it's high vis, but like, what's the thinking there?
If you're going to change your kit for the Tour de France, why make it more yellow? than what it was previously. Normally it's the opposite. Like Jumbo always put more black on and try and minimise the yellow. But yeah, I actually did not mind the current kit that they've got that's not the change one for this race. I actually think that's the best one they've had for a while. I quite like the current one. I don't really get why they've changed it. I just think that looks a bit...
the current kit is decent, yeah.
It looks a bit pro-Conti, a little bit,
could they fit any more sponsors on there?
Yeah.
There's an area here.
It's like drone up there.
Yeah.
It's quite a basic design as well. The other one was a bit more adventurous. It had a bit more about it, and that's just like, let's just colour it in here, lads. And somebody's done it with a bit of a colouring pen on an outline on a piece of paper.
I think this Israel Premier Tech kit it's confused. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know whether it's trying to be FDJ from the 90s. It's just rubbish. It's
interestingly, all the riders are wearing standard issue, but Mike Woods is in the climbers kit, so he means business. This guy, I think he's going GC. Look, they're all standard. He's ready for the mountains. So this is what we can take away from this team photo.
He's not been using Anderson though, has he? That's for sure.
His hair is aero as well. His hairline's aero for the mountains as well. Yeah.
He has aged a bit. Yeah, he's
Sorry.
What do we think? What do we think?
I don't like that at all. It's
just
horrible.
But it's.
Do you know what? It looks like a kind of one night stand with Intermarché's current kit. The previous kit.
Yeah, it's the love child of Intermarché and Alexander Vinokourov. Including some sort of splatter here, which we won't get into. But,
it's just a mess.
Even Cavs World Champ bands can't rescue that kit.
No,
usually put them on any kit, and it usually raises it to another level. And there, it's just.
Lutsenko's looking decent, but he's not having the best of luck, is he?
He's not honouring the jersey. He's not honouring it at all. He's had a shocker.
He's brought shame upon the Kazakhs.
The glorious nation of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, custard and raspberry and custard reversed.
No, can I think Carlton called it lipstick and custard today.
Lipstick and custard. Yeah, more
because lipstick's famously only one colour.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah,
I don't know. I quite like that kit because it's not the best design. It's really quite basic, but it really stands out in the peloton.
Yeah,
I think we can agree it's got the X factor.
Just moving. Can you edit that out, please?
And what are we saying? Dylan's looking good.
Yeah, Dylan
had many Dutch champs.
If you don't go for the bands, because like we were saying, the bands now go down here, so that the sponsors are here. So the bands formerly used to be here, didn't they, on national champs? So if you go for colour blocking instead, like Madouas has got a similar kit where they just use the kit for the flag. That looks cool. Obviously, we can all agree that the Jumbo kit is disgusting, but Van Baarle looks good.
I think we found out why Van Aert's not winning as well. If you can see here, he's put quite a few pounds on. He's got. I think he's had a few too many drinks. He's overindulged on his all inclusive. So maybe by week 3 he'll get that stage win. But
it looks like they're all wearing an off the shoulder number.
Right. Let's just wrap up with a quick check on the fantasy, our fantasy predictions. We can't share our Velo games. Just so the viewers know, it would be good to kind of share the Velo Games Damn Your Eyes League with you, but unfortunately we have some mildly offensive team names, which might not be great for some of our viewers, depending on.
Well, you say that, but I showed my brother-in-law my name, and he didn't understand it. So
I understood it. I mean, but I do have a certain
But to be fair, I did introduce him to a very, very disgusting internet meme. So, he's learned something.
Well, there you go. But but maybe we'll take depending on the interest we get in these shows. Maybe we'll zone in a bit on.
Well, shall we just do a quick? We don't have to, but shall we just say quickly as of if they've updated, which I think they have.
Yeah, they have.
The Velo games. I am firmly rooted on the bottom on 750 points. Nick,
I'm assuming Nick's taking the lead.
97, and Andrew, you are absolutely smashing it on 1,195.
Oh, but I did have a 300 plus gap yesterday, so Nick's clawing it back.
I'm kind of expecting to close you down on that one maybe tomorrow, but I think you'll still be ahead after tomorrow.
Definitely with the sprint stages, definitely. You're well set up for that. So, but yeah, so far we discussed it. MVDP holding back on the first stage. All about Philipsen for today. Juju. I don't think he looked okay the first few stages, but he was way off. No Conrad, obviously. Pitters was a good
show. No Conrad, obviously.
No, I mean, is he in the team lineup this year? But then actually,
always be kind. Come on, mate.
But Simon, you could have been close today with Van Aert. Actually, we were all very close. You've got that barrier incident. That could have been a different story. So. I mean, I still think Philipsen got the outright pace, but not so bad shout. I think we're coming good. So we were just finding our feet in stage 1 and 2, 3. We're all in the mix. Tomorrow is definitely a sprint day again. So I think next update could be quite close. Obviously, using Nick's scoring system, he's well ahead. He's got a 3rd place finisher, a 4th place finisher. A 1st place finisher. He's only missing the 2nd place. He's nearly got the top 4 bags, whereas we've got outside the top 25. And so did Van Aert finish 4th today?
4th today,
yeah. So it's quite close. Some good picks there, I think. Should we wrap it up? Is that it for this episode? Yep. Excellent. Good. Well, as ever, gents, thanks for your company, and we'll chat soon.
Here's to more controversy in the Jumbo Visma camp.
Hopefully keep it coming. Yeah,
let's watch that with interest. Any more getting in the team car rather than the bus?
Oh, let's see how that goes. But we'll check back in. So we'll see everyone soon. Thank you.
Nice one. Cheers.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.